Step right up, folks, but beware. The circus isn't all fun and games. Behind the laughter and spectacle, a sinister underbelly lurks where chilling encounters and inexplicable phenomena have left witnesses forever scarred. Brace yourselves for a journey into the darkest corners of the Big Top, where terror reigns and nightmares come alive.
Hair hanging stunt. Okay, I have no clue how this stunt is even done because the performers are literally hanging by their hair. Like, how does it support all their weight? I feel like my hair would just rip right out of my scalp. Anyways, in May of 2014, 8 acrobats, part of Barnum and Bailey Circus Act, were performing this stunt. They performed a human chandelier, all hanging by their hair around a ring. Ouch. But the steel fastener that held the ring in place snapped, and all the performers fell 20 feet down. Now, no one passed away from this, but they were all badly injured, some suffering severe spinal cord injuries and fractures. That's absolutely terrifying. As a result, the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration fined the circus $7,000 for failing to properly install the rigging used in the act. In our 9th spot, we have the freak show. And guys, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up because it really helps us out. Honestly, freak shows are very sad when you think about it. People born with abnormal traits are often the laughingstock and made fun of or bullied in society. So they join the circus so that they can finally feel accepted for their differences. But did you know that a lot of circuses were kidnapping people to be a part of their freak show act? This happened in 1899 with George and Willie Muse. They were brothers, both born albino, but had African American parents. Rumor has it that they were kidnapped and sold into the circus against their own will. That is incredibly, incredibly sad. And since they came from a poor family, there wasn't much they could do about it. In our 8th spot, we have lions and elephants and horses, oh my. Yeah, I thought that was such a clever title. Anyways, so a couple years ago during a circus performance, the animals actually got out of their cages. Someone clearly didn't lock them up right, because in the middle of the act, a stampede of elephants headed right towards the audience, followed by some rogue horses. Thankfully, the lions didn't get out because that would have been super bad. But just seeing those animals unleashed caused a lot of panic, and the audience was screaming and crying. Thankfully, in the end, no one was hurt and none of the animals were either. I just feel bad for those poor animals. They need their freedom. Coming in at number 7, we have the act gone wrong. So in May of 2016, a man named Ben Garnham and his family decided to go to the circus. While there, a clown was doing a performance and asked for a volunteer. His family convinced him to volunteer, and so he did. He got up on stage with the clown, and the clown said he was going to lift him in the air and spin him through the air. Of course, Ben figured that the clown wouldn't actually be doing this, but went along with the stunt anyways. All that he remembers next is the clown pushing against the back of his legs. And that's it. Well, it turns out that the clown did some weird wrestling move and Ben ended up landing on his back and he was knocked unconscious. When he woke up, he was completely fine, but still, it could have ended much worse. Coming in at number 6, we have the fire breathing. Anything to do with fire is very, very dangerous. I mean, duh, it could literally burn you alive. This next story involves a fire breathing / swallowing stunt gone wrong. The performer blew out fire from his mouth onto the torch, but upon doing so, his facial hair caught on fire. Fire quickly spread to his clothes and he was rolling around trying to put it out. Thankfully, someone rushed to his rescue and he was fine. He ended up with minor burns and some charred hair. But still, I don't want fire that close to my face ever. I don't know how they do it. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with Thomas McCart. Thomas McCart was known as the one-armed lion tamer. He actually lost his arm to a lion. While at a circus, he walked past a lion cage and the lion reached out and grabbed his arm. As a result, it had to be amputated. But somehow he got over his fear of lions and became an amazing lion tamer. That was until January 3rd of 1872. On this day, Thomas stepped into the lion cage and was attacked by several lions. He tried to fend them off, but sadly he couldn't, and he lost his life to them. Moving on to number 4, we have Rosa Matilda. Rosa Matilda, otherwise known as Zazel on stage, was the first person ever to attempt the human cannonball. She managed to nail this stunt multiple times and people were amazed. The only thing was, the cannon had to be lined up perfectly for it to work. If it was even just slightly off, she could miss the net and pass away. And sadly, that is exactly what happened. In December of 1937, she was shot out of the cannon and missed the net. She later passed away in the hospital from her injuries. Coming in at number 3, we have the Cage of Death. You know in the Simpsons movie when Homer Simpson has to ride a motorcycle inside this big metal ball cage? Yeah, well that's referred to as the Cage of Death, and it's a real stunt performed at many circuses. In 2019, 3 performers conquered the cage at a circus. All 3 of them were going round and round when all of a sudden a rider clipped the wheel of their partner, sending all 3 off their bikes. They landed on one rider and their bikes landed all on top of them. Thankfully, they were all okay. The worst injury was just a broken ankle. Honestly, it could have ended much, much worse for all of them. After this incident, it was discovered that all the riders were using replacement bikes because thieves broke into the circus the night before and stole the vehicles they normally use for this act. Like, that is so frustrating. These thieves literally caused this accident to happen. If they had their normal bikes, this probably would have never have occurred in the first place. In our second spot, we have the lion attack. In April of 2019, a performer named Hamada Kuta from the Ukraine was attacked by a lion mid-show. The lion had sunk its teeth into his arm and clawed at him badly. He was left with 2 big claw scars, a tooth in his leg, tooth marks on his arm, and 1 4-centimeter deep cut on the back from his claws. Thankfully, he survived. He's just left with a bunch of scars that remind him of the attack. And in our number 1 spot, we have Desi Espana. Desi Espana was a 32-year-old circus performer. She worked with the Ringling Bros and Barnum and Bailey Circus. She was an aerial silk performer. Sadly, in 2014, she lost her life while performing. One of her silk scarves gave out and she fell 30 feet down to the concrete floor. What makes this even more terrifying is that medics rushed to the scene, but to distract the audience, they sent clowns on stage as a distraction. No, I'm sorry, that for sure made it worse for everyone. Now, what I found surprising is that nets aren't used for aerial acts. It's because the scarves could get caught on the net, which would be really bad. And I mean, the chances of your scarf breaking is so slim, but sadly, it happened to Desi.
Starting off this terrifying list in at number 10 with the OG clown, Ronald McDonald. I'm sorry, but this had to be said. Ronald McDonald is beyond creepy. His makeup is just so damn terrifying and he's so damn tall. Okay, just listen to this. He enjoys hanging out with children when parents aren't looking. I mean, his main goal in life is to sell unhealthy hamburgers to children. Is this how you want your kids to be eating every single day? He wears a creepy yellow jumpsuit, which makes him look like a psychotic man who just finished mopping up a bloody crime scene with bleach. No thanks, Ronald McDonald. I'm eating at frickin' Wendy's. Our next red-nosed clown is Zebo, and he makes it onto our list at number 9. Clowns have obviously been the product of some serious nightmares, and Zebo from Are You Afraid of the Dark definitely helped create some of these nightmares. In an episode, a jerk kid steals Zebo's cigar, which is apparently a big no-no because the ghost of Zebo haunted this kid and demanded that he return his cigar. Zebo made items move in his room, made creepy phone calls, and even caused some spaghetti to explode. I guess this episode was trying to teach kids not to steal, but I think they're also scaring kids in the process. Up next, in at number 8, we have the Bicycle Clown. This group of horrifying clowns appeared in the movie Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which is supposed to be a children's movie, right? No, wrong. Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of children and some adults have sleepless nights because these clowns look pretty terrifying. I mean, look at my face. I'm not that terrifying, am I? I mean, no, that is not okay. I don't like the idea of clowns running towards me. I mean, I'm a freaking clown myself, and we don't do well together. Clown Dolls jumps in at number 7. This doll will haunt your nightmares. Just look at this thing. If you've seen the 1982 horror movie Poltergeist, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This creepy looking clown doll had one main purpose. It was used as a distraction so the other ghosts could abduct the child. There's even one point in the film where the clown grabs onto the little boy's face, drags him under the bed, and tries to choke him to death. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna own my own clown doll. Terrorizing in at number 6 is Captain Spaulding. This creepy clown character was first introduced in the House of 1000 Corpse, and his main purpose was to get innocent people killed by a murderous family that lived in the area. He was the owner of Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madmen, which attracted tourists from all over the country. He would use this attraction as a way to bait people into coming into the area where they would eventually be murdered. His motives are pretty terrifying, but so is his costume and makeup. I mean, if you saw this clown at the entrance of a museum, I'd get in my car, drive away, and never look back. But that's just me. Twisty scares us in at number 5. Twisty is a terrifying clown. I'm even terrified of him. He's in the American Horror Story who wears a creepy prosthetic mask to cover up his disfigured jaw. To top it all off, he kidnaps children and ends up accidentally murdering all of his victims. Twisty's debut on the show terrified the viewers as he would rip out the tongues of his victims and use their bodies as marionettes. If that's not scary, I don't know what is. Martin Vlad Ivanek beats his way into number 4. He was a drummer in a band called The Core of Your Own Nightmare, and he was the only one who would regularly wear clown makeup. Well, it turns out he had a sadistic side to him because he was kicked out of the band after he was charged with producing and sharing child pornography. Federal investigators discovered that he has been taking inappropriate pictures of himself engaging in sexual acts with a child. If he is convicted, he will face up to 30 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Well, I'm pretty sure he will be convicted because the evidence is pretty undeniable. Things get even more disturbing in at number 3 with Klutzo the Clown. This is a pretty disturbing story about a man named Amon Paul Carlock, who was a former law enforcement officer, juvenile counselor, and a minister at a church who was charged with possessing child pornography and traveling to engage in sexual contact with a minor. He would also perform locally as Klutzo the Clown, and he would advertise himself as available for vacation, Bible schools, children's crusades, Sunday school, children's church, and church parties. He did this as a ploy to get close to children and film them as they played. I mean, this is just so gross and terrifying at the same time. You just can't trust people anymore with your kids. And now I mean Pennywiser, I make this damn list. I mean, god damn it, I'm in at number 2. How do people know about me? Well, I'm pretty confident that it is the reason why most people have an extreme phobia of clowns. It's because of me. I am the ruler of all beings. It was portrayed as a shape-shifting and evil entity that doesn't have a gender or solid identity, so that's why it's called it. But when it came to Earth to feed its favorite disguise was a colorful circus clown named Pennywise. I was able to attract children, so I would just capture them and kill them and then devour them. I shouldn't be revealing any of this. I was able to capture anyone I chose, but I like those innocent children, and I would easily lure them in with candy in those sewage drains. Finally, at the number 1 spot, we have John Wayne Gacy. You think all of those fictional clowns were scary? You think I'm scary? Well, John Wayne Gacy is a real-life killer clown who murdered 33 people during his 6-year reign of terror. He was a rapist and a torturer who would dress up as a clown and perform at charity events. His clown costume would make it easier for him to lure his young victims into his home, where he would trick them into wearing handcuffs and violate them. After he was done with this violence and gruesome torturing, he would murder them and bury them in his home crawl space. Thankfully, he was executed by lethal injection, so he doesn't have a chance to attack again. And lucky for you guys, I'm just a fictional character.
Coming in at number 10, we have the ghosts of Bally's Casino and the MGM fire. What is now Bally's Las Vegas used to be the MGM Grand when fire tore through the building in November 1980. Now, the incident today is the second worst disaster in Nevada history and the third worst hotel fire in modern US history. During the time of the fire, there were 5,000 people in the hotel and no sprinklers in place across a large part of the building. The fire started in the deli restaurant and tore through the second floor. 1984. 85 people died, the majority from smoke inhalation. 588 civilians, 25 employees, and 14 firefighters were injured. The hotel was brought up by Caesars Entertainment Corporation and turned into Bally's in 1986. Now, people that stayed at the hotel are convinced that they hear screaming or see ghostly apparitions walking through walls. Some employees have even reported seeing a group of ghosts who hang around together, which is kind of sweet. Coming in at number 9, Stephen Paddock was in a cult, or so local rumor has it. We can all agree that Stephen Paddock, the Las Vegas shooter, was a disturbed individual. However, some people are saying that he was part of a satanic cult. On October the 1st, 2017, Stephen Paddock broke a window in his 32nd floor room at the Mandalay Bay Hotel and fired on a crowd enjoying Route 91 Harvest Music Festival. Using a semi-automatic rifle, he fired 1,100 rounds, killing 58 people and injuring a further 851. Now, according to a number of news publications, including the National Enquirer, Paddock was a prime target for a cult, which encouraged him to carry out the murdering spree. Dr. George Simon, a psychologist and author, said that Paddock's flaws, including his drinking and his gambling, made him easy pickings for a cult leader who was able to encourage him to do his bidding. Coming in at number 8, we have the classic rotting corpse under bed story. This is a very popular urban legend, appropriated to many hotels and local folklores all over the country, and indeed actually all over the world. It seems though that the original story can be traced back to Sin City itself. Basically, the story goes that a person checks into a hotel, kind of a budget hotel, you know, so they can save their cash for gambling. They check in, pop their bags down, and they have a rest. They even notice a faint smell, but they don't think anything of it. They go out for dinner, come back ready for bed, and the smell is even a bit worse. They're really tired and there's no one at the front desk, so they have to suck it up and go to bed. They wake up in the middle of the night and the stench this time is so bad, like really bad. They turn on the lights and check to find the source of the stink. They look everywhere, especially around the bed, as that is where it seems the strongest. Eventually, they decided to lift up the bed, and lo and behold, there is a festering corpse under there. That is around the time the knocking at the door starts. Freaked out, they climb out of their bedroom window, get into their car, leaving their stuff behind, and they hot-foot it out of there. Coming in at number 7, we have the ghosts of Circus. I just went to Vegas over Christmas, and I went into Circus because of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I love that scene, you know, when they're on the carousel and they can't get off. It's a classic. Well, apparently, that moving bar on the merry-go-round isn't there anymore, which is really sad. Also not there anymore is room 123. Well, actually, the room still exists, it just has a different number, making it impossible to tell which room this homicide happened in. Oh yeah, homicide. A woman shot her son and then herself. Now, before the room was renovated, people would see the faint words "help me" written on the bathroom mirror. Cries for help can still be heard in the poker rooms, which are rumored to have been nearby. Some also claim that rooms 230 and 576 are haunted. Coming into number 6, we have the 4th grader ghost at Edwards Elementary School. Can you even imagine being brought up in Vegas? I feel like that would be absolutely insane. Like, what kind of human would you turn out to be? If you're brought up in Vegas, holler at me. Edwards Elementary School is located to the east of the city and has one student who has been in attendance for nearly 30 years. Students in grade 4 and teachers of the 4th grade have reported seeing a young girl dressed in white. She's often spotted in the computer room and in room 26, her old classroom. It seems that the young girl is a deceased student who once attended the school but died in 1990 when she was in the 4th grade. This is seemingly why only teachers of the 4th grade and 4th grade students can see her, but no other years can. We have another Vegas school haunting up next. This time we have a middle school. That's right, we have the janitor of Del H. Robinson. This is a very strange tale indeed and seems to affect only students who have moved to the school from outside of Nevada. Again, just east of the city, it's Del H. Robinson Junior High. It's not too far from Edwards Elementary, so this actually means in theory a person could have been to both haunted schools if they were unlucky. Or they just loved ghosts. The ghost at Del H is nothing like the benevolent child at Edwards though. The ghost here is of a janitor who's seen walking the halls with bloody hands. Again, seemingly only kids from out of state experience this ghostly apparition, which is so strange. Some new arrivals also report seeing him in their dreams after enrolling at the school. Stranger still, according to local legend, he disappears from sight and mind as soon as the pupils start going to church. Right, sure. Is it a big ploy? Coming into number 4, we have La Palazza Mansion Demonic Hauntings. La Palazza Mansion is located at 1700 Banny Avenue in Las Vegas, just up north from the main strip. Despite being prime real estate, the house has laid empty for a number of years. The property was purportedly owned by mobsters. Now these days the mansion is said to be not just a little haunted, but very haunted. The previous owner thought that he had bought his dream home but was freaked out when bad things started happening there. In the end, he decided to challenge the poltergeist, demanding it leave. Now things didn't go well. The man was then nearly choked to death as an invisible entity grabbed him by the neck. His friends managed to pull him away. Now it seems the mobster former tenants had some unfinished business left in the house. The house was featured on Ghost Adventures in 2010. Also, I found a website where members of the public can leave comments, and a number of people living in the area said that they visited the house either as a potential buyer or just a trespasser who'd heard the urban legends. Now all agree that the house felt very, very odd and very cold despite the 100-degree weather outside. Coming in at number 3, could UFOs be bopping on over from Area 51 to the outskirts of Vegas? Find out more at number 3. So Joshua Warren, a paranormal investigator, claims that there is a time warp outside of Las Vegas. Warren said that the warp occurs between the I-15 and Route 93. He measured this with a differential time rate meter, a device used by UFO experts that detects bends in the time-space continuum. That's basically bends in the laws of physics that we know our Earth usually observes. Now the discrepancy in time measurement has led to paranormalists suggesting that there is a wormhole or black hole in the area, so, watch out. And also with Area 51 just basically up the road, who even knows what's really going on? Coming into number 2, we have the bodies of the Hoover Dam. Apparently these bodies are encased in cement, which is terrifying. I visited the Hoover Dam on my way to Vegas over Christmas. Now the Hoover Dam sits on the Colorado River and divides Arizona and Nevada. Crossing this river is pretty much the gateway to Vegas, and the water from the dam provides millions of Americans with clean water, especially those living in Las Vegas. Nonetheless, the dam has a dark history and is often referred to as the Hoover Damned or the Tomb of the Damned. Built in the Depression era of the United States, the official number of people who died whilst building the dam is 96, although many more were thought to have perished. That's the fact, but the urban legend says that the majority of these people are encased in the concrete walls of the dam itself. Supposedly, the mixer couldn't stop pouring concrete as it would mean a structural issue with the end result. So basically, bodies were just covered up over and over to make part of the vast wall today. This is probably just an urban legend, but a lot of people did sacrifice their lives for the structure. Some even say their lost souls can be seen walking across the bridge between states at night. Finally, coming into number 1, I love me a good spooky curse. We have the much famed Egyptian curse of the Luxor Hotel. Never mess with the ancient Egyptians. The Luxor Hotel is an Egyptian-themed hotel on the Vegas Strip, but it seems like the old gods aren't that on board with it. The Luxor has had a very consistently high death rate over the years since it opened in 1993, as well as a string of misfortune that's followed. Some say 7 people died whilst building the vast hotel, and some of them were seen in boats on the replica River Nile that meandered through the lobby. It's recently been filled in. In 1996, a woman jumped from the 26th floor of the building and now is said to haunt that floor. Now another man died when he drunkenly fell from the 10th floor into the lobby. A hand bomb went off in the parking garage in 2007, killing an employee. In 2010, a UNLV football player dropped dead following a fight. In 2012, a casino employee was murdered by her boyfriend in the lobby. Again, 2012 was a bad year for the hotel's rep as 3 guests caught Legionnaires' disease, with further cases reported in 2017. One of the guests even died as a result. All in all, it is rumoured that this hotel is cursed. Why? Well, they didn't appease the old gods when building the site, especially in the placement of the Sphinx, which is facing east rather than west. Also, when they built the pyramid, they didn't put an eye on the top. Now, this apparently is mandatory in all pyramid buildings. So guys, that was the top 10 scary Las Vegas urban legends. Which of these terrifies you the most? Let me know in the comments section down below. I just want to read a few comments from one of my recent videos, the top 10 scary slender Slender Man Urban Legends Part 2. Now, Jake Nicholson said, "Everyone needs to back off Slender Man. I think he's just misunderstood. Has anyone ever just asked Slender Man how he's doing, or if he just needs a hug? Everyone's so quick to judge." See, now Jake, you're getting it wrong. I'm talking about Slender Man, not Slender Man, who I've heard is, stand-up guy. Person on the internet said, "Slender Man, the man with no face, the man with no soul, the man who is taller than me." Mate, don't worry, everyone in the universe is taller than me, so join the club. So guys, that was the top 10 scary Las Vegas urban legends. Do let me know what you thought of this video, and also let me know if you've ever been to Vegas. Also, if you guys want to connect with me on social media, once again, my link is in the description box down below. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, share it with a friend, and stay subscribed for more most amazing lists.
Want to see more videos like this one? Check out this video next. It's about facts from history that they won't teach you in school. Schools refuse to teach anyone about these moments from history, so we're going to show you what schools won't. Click the video now to find out more.